Welcome to Gen Z Hoops, the Gen Z basketball, coaching, and sports business show. On this podcast, you'll learn from professional players, coaches, and executives from all over the world and see the court in a brand new way. And now, joining you courtside, your Gen Z host, John Hartofilis.
Hey, Coach Jennings, what's going on?
How you doing? How's it going?
Great. I hope you're having a great day and really excited to kind of break down all the cool stops you've made on this basketball journey you're on.
Yeah, I'm having a phenomenal day. Just trying to stay sane with everything that's going on in the world. But other than that, can't complain.
Of course. Best of luck in doing all that. And real quick, just to start us off for our listeners, can you kind of give us a quick little walkthrough of maybe how you first got introduced to the game? What kind of got you to fall in love with it? What did that look like for you?
I first got introduced to basketball when I was about, I want to say, I was about 10 or 8 or 10, somewhere in there. Melvin Burt. I actually played football first, and I was playing football, and he came and watched my football game, and then I would be at the park, which was right across the street from my home, and kind of just playing with the boys and things like that. And he saw me and kind of came over to my grandmother's house and knocked on the door and asked me to come work out with his team and play. He had like an AAU little training team he had. So that's pretty much how I got started. From there, I ended up playing at East Tech for 3 years, which is in Cleveland, Ohio. And then I graduated from Lutheran East. I played there 1 year. And then from there, I played 4 years at Xavier with what I would say is 4 outstanding, great years at Xavier. Left Xavier, had the opportunity to play professionally. So then I went overseas to Europe. I was in Helsinki, Finland, and Wiesbaden, Germany. And I lived in Europe for a little minute. And then, once I knew that I wanted to retire, I knew that basketball would be, the career I would stay in. And so as soon as I came back, I got the opportunity to coach on a staff with a guy named Mike Bradbury, who was actually an assistant coach at Xavier when I was being recruited there. And then he left there my freshman year to go be the head coach at Morehead State. And then he became the head coach at Wright State. And so that's where I got my first opportunity.
That's awesome. And then you touched on that kind of transition to your coaching journey. What did it look like for you, obviously having a stellar career at Xavier and doing all these amazing things to then transition into this whole new world of coaching?
I think you learn a lot about yourself as a player. I think you learn the discipline component and, the work ethic and all those things as a player, which kind of guides you into, right into coaching, because you have to have that, the instincts and things like that, as far as like recruiting and things of that nature. Winners always want to win. And it's like, no matter whether it's you playing basketball or you coaching it, or if you're a competitor, you have a competitive nature about you. You always want to win. And so, I'm a competitor. I was a competitor as a player, and I'm sure I'm a competitor as a coach. So there was no drop off there.
That's great. And it's amazing that you're able to keep the same level of intensity kind of across both professions, which is obviously very sometimes difficult to do. You obviously were an assistant coach at a couple different schools in Florida. Now you're with Montverde. What is it about Florida, or maybe the basketball culture that makes you love it so much and want to stay there?
I don't know that it's so much in Florida. I think that it's the school, Montverde Academy. I mean, if they were I think I would love them if they were in New York or if they were in Texas. This school is just a phenomenal place. I think that, when this position became open and I, once I saw it and I was like, man, this is a place that I can really go and build and grow and do something phenomenal. And, that's why I'm here. We have phenomenal facilities. We have phenomenal resources. We have a head of school that is absolutely involved and definitely, he's very super supportive of everything with our program and with every program at the school. And so when you have administration and everything back you, it makes your job that much easier. And it gives you that opportunity to show some success. And so that's been great. But Montverde is a special place, no pun intended, but I'm happy to be here.
Of course, that's great, and the pun was in terms of it is really a special place. Through all this stuff at Montverde, you obviously have so many opportunities to do all these amazing things and travel the country and play against all these other ranked teams. What is that kind of like for you? How crazy was that kind of seeing that side of high school basketball, which 99% of the country can't really get to that point where they're traveling and doing all these amazing things. What was that like for you?
I think that's another reason why I took the job here, to have the opportunity to compete at a national level. That's something that a lot of places don't get the opportunity. There's a few, but to be able to travel and play, top competitors night in and night out, and be able to find, those great teams from different states and different cities and get to compete against them. That's something serious, especially at this level. I think that our school affords young ladies the opportunity of, hey, this is what it's going to look like at the collegiate level for those of you that want to play at a high level, at a major collegiate level. And you have that schedule, you have that itinerary, you have those details of what it looks like, and they're getting the opportunity that a lot of people aren't getting just by being able to travel and be on a strict schedule.
Of course, then when it comes to yourself and your coaching, you've been in so many different areas, whether it's being in basketball operations, in industry, scouting, an administrative assistant, planning practices. You've kind of been all done everything. How much does that help you in kind of how you coach and in doing all those different things?
Oh, it's a big help. I think that for any young coach out there that wants to be a head coach at some point in their career, I would say go coach at a Division 2. And I say that because I went and I coached at a Division 2, and it's not like Division 1 where you have, four assists, you have four coaches, you have a director of basketball operations, you have a video coordinator, you have GAs, you have, managers, different things. At the Division 2 level, it's the head coach and one assistant. And so you pretty much have to do everything. And in doing that, like, I learned so much about myself as a coach. And then I learned so many other things, basketball related, offense side of the ball, defense side of the ball, special ATOs, out of timeouts, blobs, slobs, different things that I had to learn because I was like thrown into the fire. There wasn't, three other coaches where, well, you specifically do this and you specifically do that. I had to scout, I had to recruit, I had to practice plan, I had to be a, academic liaison, community service liaison. You wore so many different hats at that level that I think that's what truly prepared me for when I did go to the Division 1 level and then now as a head coach.
I love that, and obviously that's it's great that well, it must have been very difficult to take all that in at the same time. It obviously prepared you for what you're doing now, and one of the biggest things that I thought would be obviously a challenge at the level of high school basketball that you're coaching at is obviously all your young ladies are dealing with the outside pressures of the kind of the hype that exists with kind of the new last 5-10 years of this kind of social media culture over time, the constant. I would imagine there's people with cameras and huge video monitors at all your games. What's that kind of like as you for you as a coach navigating that or navigating the young ladies on your team through that?
For me, it's just more so keeping them, letting them know the outside doesn't matter. It's all about the inside. I was fortunate enough to play at a high level. And, when I was in college, the lights were on us. We were top 3 in the country, so that pressure, I understand that pressure. I know what it feels like. I know what it looks like. So just getting them to understand that, the outside world is the distraction. The only focus you need to have is on whatever game it is we have at hand. We play one game at a time. I'm a type of coach where I don't care anything about the rankings. I leave that to the people. People gonna say what they want. They're gonna talk about you when you're loud. They're gonna talk about it when you're dead. They're gonna talk about when you do good. They're gonna talk about you when you do bad. So that stuff doesn't matter. You have to learn to focus on the task at hand. And the young ladies that I have, I think that they've done a phenomenal job up until this point at just worrying about us. We don't worry about who we play. We worry about how we play. And at the end of the day, if we play the way that we're supposed to play and we stick to the standard that has been set forth for our program, we have an opportunity to be in or win, every game we play in. I've never told them, hey, we're going to be undefeated. You're going to win every game. I'm not that coach. I'll never say that, but I do tell them, our preparation, we will be prepared to play and have the opportunity to win every game. And so they know the difference. So pressure wise, I think that they do a good job of just, leaving the media where it is and just focusing on what we have to do and our goal.
That's so important. I'd imagine it's something that's so prevalent. And is there a specific maybe moment you can kind of point back to and say, wow, I can't believe we played at this venue or this game or against this great of a team or the game went that close down to the wire? Is there anything that immediately when you think of your time that sticks out to you?
Well, I've only been here 4 months, so I haven't had a super amount of experiences. I've been here 4 months. We're 14 games in. And also due to the pandemic, we haven't played in the type of events that we typically would have played in. So the Nike event that's in Arizona, probably the Run for the Roses in Jersey, the Classic in the Country in Ohio, those different events, we haven't had that opportunity to be a part of this year. But I will say, I think that the She Got Game event that we played in on New Year's Day was probably one of the better events that we've played in. Inside Exposure has a great event that we played in, but we only played one game there. But definitely, She Got Game, we played some tough opponents. I thought, those teams came out and did exactly what I thought they were going to do. They played extremely hard, and they made it a game. It was a fight to the end, and it was great for our program.
It's amazing. And then in this COVID environment, what are kind of the rules and stuff for you guys down there in Florida, where it's a little bit more open, where you're able to go to those kind of tournaments and have those experiences and still play basketball, whether it's with masks on and stuff like that? What does that look like for you guys?
I think a lot of the schools are doing a good job of there's a limited amount of people that can actually be in a facility. Masks are required over the nose and over the mouth at all times. Temperature checks are done before you come in, before you exit. And so, some of the protocols have been really, really good. And I think that, for us, a lot of the events that we have played in and a lot of the teams that we are playing have done a great job of having protocol in place. So, we feel safe. As long as we feel safe and as long as there are protocols, then, we're okay to play. If there is no safety measure, then we kind of scale back and probably wouldn't play in that game.
Of course, safety always comes first. And all these things about your coaching career are so fantastic and great to think about. The one thing I did want to mention was through the way we got connected was through a mutual friend in Everest. What is kind of in that whole podcasting sphere with the things over at No Referees? What does that kind of look like, and how have you enjoyed doing that so far?
Oh, No Referees it's a dope podcast. My guy Everest he has a phenomenal personality. He and I work together at University of Illinois Chicago, where he currently still works, and we have a phenomenal relationship. I think that's a great podcast where no referees is in, like, no rules, just kind of where you could speak freely, you can be yourself, you can be open, you can be honest as possible, because a lot of times in this world we live in with the media and everything, everyone feels as if there are certain things you can't say, you got to act a certain way, you got to speak a certain way, you got to do a certain thing. You oftentimes can't be yourself. And so we've created a platform where you can come on and kind of give your experiences, talk about your experiences, and just, give it to us real raw and uncut, so that people know that there is another side to the business, another side to you, where it's not, what you kind of see is sometimes a facade. We want the real.
Of course, and getting that real stuff out of guests is obviously the most fun out of anything. And special thank you so much for coming on. This was awesome. I feel like I really can't wait to just see kind of what you do next, whether it's at Montverde or with No Referees or all these cool things. So thank you so much for coming on.
No problem, John. I appreciate you having me. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to Gen Z Hoops. Make sure to follow, like, and subscribe on Instagram, LinkedIn, and all major social media platforms at Gen Z Hoops. You can tune in and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and every other podcast platform on the planet. Get ready for the next episode. Thanks for listening to Gen Z Hoops. Make sure to follow, like, and subscribe on Instagram, LinkedIn, and all major social media platforms at Gen Z Hoops. You can tune in and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and every other podcast platform on the planet. Get ready for the next episode.